Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this new webinar from Circontech. My name is Will, and with me is Marcelo, our AI expert and AWS architect, who will be our speaker today. In today's session, Marcelo will be talking about phone voice agents and how these types of solutions can be built on AWS. And before we begin, let me remind you that you can contact us after this presentation and schedule one-on-one meetings with Marcelo and the technical team. We'll be happy to answer your questions and provide support for your initiatives. So we are now ready to start. Over to you, Marcelo.
Thanks, Will. And hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. And today I will show you how to build voice AI agents using Amazon Connect and Amazon Nova 2 Sonic, which is a model that Amazon has. We'll do a live demo and we'll answer your questions. So let me start by showing you the problem that we are solving. The traditional IVR frustrates everyone. You navigate menus, you speak keywords, you repeat yourself. And as a result, more than 40% of customers hang up before talking to anyone. So the problem here is lack of intelligence. It cannot understand language, natural language, or remember context. This is what is happening with these old systems. So what is the solution? This is where these new models come in, like Nova 2 Sonic. Nova 2 Sonic is one unified model. It receives audio and returns audio with full intelligence built in. It has three capabilities: direct speech-to-speech processing, full context memory across the conversation, and also emotion detection to adapt tone. This is different from other approaches that chain separate services together and lose context. So let me show you how this actually works in practice and the architecture behind it. There are three pieces that work together. Connect. In this case, we are going to be using Amazon Connect, which is the solution or the service that AWS has for this telephony part. There are other vendors that you can use. There's Vonage, there's Twilio. There are other solutions that can take care of that part. If you want a completely AWS solution, you can use Amazon Connect. The good part of using Amazon Connect is that it's a native AWS and connects seamlessly with other AWS systems and services. So this Connect part handles phone calls and routing. The model is the intelligent brain that understands and responds. And the backend connects you to systems that you may have, like databases, CRM, and knowledge docs. We are going to see an example of how to connect with a knowledge base that is inside Bedrock, which is another service that AWS has for managing generative AI. The agent can search your documentation, can call your APIs while having natural conversations. So these are the technical pieces, but what can you actually do with this? Let me show you some examples. Real companies use this today in customer service for orders and accounts, tech support, and this for ticket management. This can also cut the number of escalations that they have, sales and booking automation, collections to reduce late payments. This intelligence makes it work across all these use cases. So, but enough theory. Let me show you this in action with a live demo. I'm going to show you how to set this up in AWS and how we can call the agent so you can hear it respond. I'm going to share my screen. For this, there are different pieces. You have Amazon Connect, the service I told you about, that takes care of the telephony part, where you have a console where your agents can connect and manage the information. And here you can configure all this flow of how this call is supposed to happen. Before this, you have to configure inside Connect something that is called a domain. This is like a place where you are going to be connecting tools that you may have, and all these intelligent parts and sections are going to be happening inside it. For instance, here I have already connected a Bedrock knowledge base and also a web crawler. You can add different integrations, and I'll show you. Create a new integration. You have all of these integrations that are for if you are using one of these systems, they are already made, and you can connect directly to these systems to get information. Okay, let me go back. For this, I have a knowledge base. This is a very simple knowledge base that has some documents about Circontech, our company, so we can later ask the agent some information, and he is going to connect here and is going to translate that information to us. Okay, once you are inside Connect, you have this thing which is called an instance, where everything is happening. Then you go and log into this instance, and you get there to this screen where this is like a backend for Connect, where you can make all the configurations. There are different things that you need to configure, and this is not very friendly because Amazon Connect has been around for a while. It wasn't like thought for generative AI, but now we have all these tools. So this tool has been adapting to the new technologies, but it is based on an existing architecture. That's why it's sometimes pretty cumbersome, and you have to use connections to old stuff like something called Lex. I don't know if you remember, there's a service that Amazon has held for a while, which is called Amazon Lex, that takes care of interactions with people, with chats, and also bots that use other technology previous to the generative AI, where you took the audio, transcribed it, and do something with it, and then say it back with another service like Poly. But here we are going to see how to connect this to the new model that we have now. For this, you have to create something that is called an AI agent inside Connect. This is where you program the personality that the agent is going to have and how it's going to behave. Also, you can set the prompts of exactly what it's going to say or which tools can it use, and guardrails to make sure that you are compliant to anything that your company has to comply to. Let me see an example here. If you go to AI agents, you can configure it here. You have different configurations. There are default that you can choose, or you can modify. You have different agents, and inside the agent, it has the prompts that it's going to use and also the tools that it can connect to. For instance, let me check this specification that we're going to use now. This is here. You can see that in tools, it has configured the knowledge base that I said before, and this other web crawler that is going to connect to a specific website. For this, of course, the agent needs to have the proper permissions that you can set here in the security profiles. All of this is versioned, so if you do changes, you have to make sure that you are always using the latest version, but if there's any problem, you can go back to a working version without any problems. Okay, and once you have the AI agents set, you also need to set this here in this option, which is called the conversational AI. This is going to be the link between the platform and the intelligence. It's going to create this Amazon Lex bot that was previously used, but this is like a specific version that is specially configured for conversational AI. For this, you can see this, for instance. Here you can set the language, and inside the language, you select the speech model that you're going to use. For this case, I selected this model that I was telling you about, the Amazon Novasonic, which is this speech-to-speech model. And the intent. What are the intents? Before this GenAI things, you had to set specific intents for Lex, for this Amazon Lex bot, to recognize what the customer or what the user was talking about. So if you had a chat or a voice bot before with Lex, you had to configure one by one all the keywords that the person may said. And if he says this keyword, then you go this way. If you said that other keyword, you're just going to have this other response. Here it is not needed because we are talking about generative AI. So the model is going to be able to understand what the user is saying and dealing with that accordingly. So this is a configuration that you need there, and always set up a specific version that you are going to be using. Okay, then after you have that, you have to set up a flow. What is going to happen in that call? So when the call starts, then what happens? And then what happens and what parts of this that we already set up are going to be using. Let me show you how that looks like. Okay, you can use this one here. This is a drag and drop screen there where you can configure how this call is going to go. You have all these different blocks. This is the bare minimum that you need for this to work. This to set voice is to select one voice that has to be compatible with the model that we chose. In this case, this one is one of those, Matthew. If everything goes well, you go to the get customer input. Here's where you set up what information are you going to get from the user and what you are going to do with that. This is how you configure it. You have to select the bot that we created, the one that I showed you in conversational AI, the proper version, otherwise it's not going to work. What it's going to say, how it's going to greet you once the bot picks up the phone. For this, you have many other choices. You can use recordings, or you can make it dynamic. And you have to enable the AI agent so it uses the intelligence that you set up previously and the personality and the prompts and all that. And for that, you have to select the AI agent that you configured. Once you have it all, so you can test it with a call. I'm going to quickly make a test. Check. Okay. So you can hear.
Matthew, how can I help you?
Hi, Matthew. I'm Marcelo. How are you?
Hi, Joseph. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm here to help you with whatever you need.
Can you
Can I
please
assist you with today?
tell me about IT services?
I'd be happy to help you learn about what I can assist with. I'm here to provide customer service support in English. I can help you with questions and issues related to a few different areas. Could you tell me more about what you're looking for? Are you interested in learning about services from a specific company or product? Or do you have a particular question I can help you with?
Do you have something about health insurance?
Yes, I can help you with questions about health insurance. I have access to information about health plans and health insurance services. What specific information would you like to know about?
Okay, so as you can see, the bot understands what I was talking about, and he can uh, say, okay, this person is asking about this specific item. So do I have any tool that allows me to answer that? So if there's a match, it's going to be connecting to that tool and giving the information. As you may have noticed, there was a little bit of latency in this call. So what happened here? So how can we improve this? This is something that you can improve in many ways because there are different things that are happening while this call is being set up. First, you have all these blocks in the flows. These are happening sequentially, so these are adding some time while the time passes between the call being established here and the bot answering, and all the information that is inside these blocks too. That's one thing. Another things are regions. Where is this instance located? Where I am located, and where is the phone that I'm using located. In this case, this is like the worst case because I'm using 3 different locations. This is in North Virginia, and the phone that I'm using is in Mexico, and I'm located in Chile. So that could explain a little bit of what is happening. And also there are some timeouts that you can configure inside of these blocks, and the time that the bot is allowing me to have silences. So if I say something, it's going to be waiting for some milliseconds uh, to see if there's another word. So that's something that can be configured so you can get like a better interaction with a lower latency. Okay, that's, I think, all that I wanted to show you. Let me check. Yeah, I also wanted to tell you about the prompt, and this is how you configure what's the role, what's the behavior of the agent, and that's where you define, for instance, that you are a helpful customer service agent for a tech company. Answer questions, be friendly, remember the context, and all that. And then the connection to the knowledge base happens because first, you have it linked in the configuration that we made in the domain, and then we have it also in the prompt of how to use that information. So that's basically it in action. You saw that it understood the questions, kept the context, and it could pull information from the knowledge base. So how can you actually do this for your company? We recommend a couple of phases. Let me check. Sorry, I'm not presenting here. 2 phases. First, start with the pilot, pick up one use case, set it up, test internally, improve 1 to 2 weeks. Then you can go to production, refining everything, adding documents and systems, and you first launch to 5% of the calls, and then you scale up. You don't have to do it all at once. This production phase can take anything from 2 to 4 weeks. Our recommendation always is to start small, to learn, and then scale. Of course, you are probably thinking about the business case for this. This is a question that we have a lot. And you have for different industry, different figures that you have based in experience of people that have been using this for a while. Call drops, the cost that is incurred for call drops is improving, the customer satisfaction is up, and this is something that you can scale infinitely. For instance, we have real examples from e-commerce companies here in Latam saving a lot of money per year. Also, a Brazilian fintech that we work with, automating the collections and recovering also a lot of payments that they couldn't have done otherwise. And the return is something that you can see in few months. I don't know, Will, if we got any questions during this time.
Yes, we have a few questions. There's one in the Zoom chat that you already answered, which was about how to reduce the latency between the answers and the questions. I think you got that cleared. And then we have a few more. The first one says, what happens if the agents can't solve a particular problem?
Okay, well, as this agent is powered by a model which is quite intelligent, it can know where it is stuck. And also you can set up triggers, like when the customer asks for a person, or if the agent tried number of times to do something and couldn't help, or the topic is sensitive, like you can set it up, okay, if we are going to be talking about refunds or a complaint, it's just transfer the call to a human. And the important part is that when these transfers happen, it will pass all the information to the human operators. So the full conversation, what it was tried, and the information that was collected. And this is routed together with the call. So the human agent doesn't have to ask for all the information again, and the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves.
Okay, perfect. Next question is about security. What about security and compliance? We handle sensitive data.
Okay, so yeah, this is critical. And Amazon Connect and Bedrock, like many of the services of AWS, are prepared for different certifications like HIPAA for healthcare, PCI, DSS for payments, SOC 2, ISO 27000, and all that. And because AWS gets audited for them, there has a lot of artifacts or documents that they provide, so you can show your auditors that you are complying with that. Also, the important part is that none of this information is going to be used to train models, and your data remains being your data. If you have control over everything, where the data lives, you can keep it in specific regions, the type of encryption that you use. Of course, you encrypt it in transit, at rest, and if you have sensitive stuff like credit card numbers, you can configure the agent to never handle those. And you can transfer that to a secure system, and the user can type that in the keyboard, and the agent never gets that information. So basically, yeah, of course, you have to have the usual precautions with data, but all the systems are prepared for you to do it in the right way.
Okay, perfect. We got one more question in the Zoom chat, which is asking about languages. If we or Amazon Connect offers Russian and Latvian as particular languages. I was just checking at the docs, and it seems that Russian it is handled by Connect, but not Latvian. So what you can do there is to connect other AWS services like Amazon Poly, for instance, or bring your own audio prompts, right? And try to work around that for a particular language.
Yeah, anyway, this is something that is changing every day. So nobody says that next month the Latvian is not going to be supported. So this is the cycles of updates for these systems is like much quicker than before. So in a couple of months this can change. Of course, I will ask the question to support to see if they have any plans to develop these languages. And then also that another thing regarding languages that you need to be aware of is that not all languages are supporting all the models. For instance, for Nova 2 Sonic, this speech-to-speech model is in English and it's in Spanish, but it's not in all the types of Spanish. You have from Spain, Spanish for Latam, Spanish for US. In this case, it's only Spanish for US. But this is something that is evolving every day. So just for your use case or your special needs, just ask Amazon support, or you can ask us and we can get that information quickly.
Perfect. Thank you, Marce. And one more question, which we got pretty often, which is about the costs of using Connect. What's the ROI that you can calculate out of it?
Okay, this is something that can vary a lot depending on how much you use it. Depends on your industry and depends of the setup that you already have and that number of calls, how many human operators or how many hours of those humans is requiring. And with this improvement in number of calls and number of hours that you are attending to, you can just have an idea of how much money you are going to save. Because you save money on three ways. One, you need fewer operators. Two, the calls are shorter because the agents understand the context and the customer don't repeat themselves. And three, there are fewer transfers. That is the call being transferred to another agent and then to another agent and then escalated and all that, because the agent can solve the problem at once because it can have access to all the tools. So you can see a positive return on investment in usually a few months, from 3 to 6 months.
Okay, perfect. That's it for the questions, Marce.
Okay, great. Okay, so yep, to wrap up, we covered this new model, the intelligence that it provides. We saw it work live, and we discussed the implementation and gave you an idea of how to see the real ROI that it's having. So if you want this in your company, just reach out. We can design the architecture and implementation plan for your specific case. So thank you for your time, and feel free to contact us with any follow-up questions.